So today's recipe, we're going to make French onion soup. A little bit of a history lesson for you. French onion soup is called French onion soup because that's where it originated, I think in the 18th century. Originally all it was beef broth and onions. So we're pretty much doing the same dish today, just obviously with some other ingredients in there, and it's a modern adaptation with the croutons and everything on top. So it's one of my favourite soups and I hope you enjoy it. It's pretty easy, just takes a bit of time. So before we do anything, make sure you preheat your oven to 200 degrees. So let's have a look at some ingredients. So 6 to 8 white or yellow onions then. And then quite importantly, 1.5 litres of stock. Now I always like to use 50-50 split between chicken stock and beef stock. So 750ml beef stock, 750ml chicken stock. 100 grams of unsalted butter. Some fresh thyme, but don't worry, you won't need this much. You just need sort of 5 or 6 sprigs of the fresh thyme. 125 millilitres of dry sherry. 1 teaspoon of white sugar. You can use caster sugar like this if you have it. And 1 tablespoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And you'll need a splash of olive oil. Then for the croutons to top the soup with, I have 1 small baguette and a mixture here of a mature cheddar and a Parmesan cheese that I'm going to top on these croutons as well. So as well as that, you're going to need either a Dutch oven or a casserole dish or cast iron pot like this one. So let's get going then. So it's the boring bit first, unfortunately. Just peel and slice your onions. You want to do this quite large chunks of onion. You don't want them too thin really. So once you've peeled it, just go from the top to the bottom in half, and then not too thin, sort of pieces like this. You know, average slices of onion really. I've mentioned this before in my videos, but unfortunately I don't listen to enough of my own advice. But if you want to stop your eyes from streaming, don't cut through this bit of the onion, the root. So we should listen to my own advice. So when you've finished chopping your onions, you can take your casserole dish, your Dutch oven, cast iron pot, whatever. Drop a little splash of olive oil. Just use your hands or a little bit of grease-proof paper. Just move that oil all the way around, and just make sure you get nice and greased all the way around. And then whack your onions straight in. Now those onions are in there, it's going to pop roughly half of our tablespoon of salt in there. And then we're also going to just slice up and throw our butter in there as well. So what we're hoping to do here is when these onions get covered with the lid and they go in the oven for quite some time, they'll start to caramelise in there, and some of that caramelisation will stick to the outside and stick to the bottom. We're going to continue to scrape that off because that's where a lot of the flavour is. It's a real rich caramelised onion flavour in there, and we want all that flavour with our stock and our soup. So yeah, so make sure you get the rest of this butter in there with the salt and the onions. Pop the lid on and then just into our preheated oven for an hour. Alright, that's the end of the first hour. Just show you what this looks like. So as you can see then, these onions are starting to go quite translucent now and reduced down a little bit, and this is this caramelisation I was talking about on the side of the pan here. So you want to do your best to scrape that off and get it back mixed in with these onions because there's so much flavour in there. Place the lid back on, and then we're going to go back into the oven with the lid slightly ajar this time for another hour, an hour and 15 minutes. Right, that's the end of hour number 2. So yeah, you can see they're really starting to caramelise nicely now. So again, scrape a load of this caramelisation off, get it mixed up with the onions in your pan. So our onions are out of the oven then. Just going to pop them onto hob on a medium heat for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until this liquid's pretty much gone and our onions are all really nice with a dark golden brown. While you're stirring with this heat on then, Just constantly try and scrape as much of this caramelisation off the sides and the bottom as you can. So remember, there's an awful lot of flavour in there. You can see the onions have taken on this really lovely deep colour. And I pop our 125 mils of sherry in there. Our black pepper's going in as well. The rest of our salt and our sugar as well. Just gonna get all of that mixed in really well. Immediately that flavour is just amazing, the smell's great. Keep stirring this for about another 5 minutes. What you want now is for that sherry to absorb in there, burn off a lot of that alcohol. And you'll notice the onions take on an even deeper, richer brown colour. And then that's when you're ready for your stock. So that stock's in there then. Just gonna turn the heat back up, bring it to a boil, and then what you want to do, grab your 5 or 6 sprigs of fresh thyme, pop that in there, give it a good stir. So when you've brought this to the boil then, immediately turn your heat down. Just let that simmer away there for about 15 minutes. So while we're on to the last 15 minutes then, we're gonna make our croutons for the top. So yeah, I'm just gonna toast our slices of baguette, one side under the grill. And I'm gonna turn them over, place our cheese mix on the top, put them back under the grill to melt the cheese, and then they're done and just ready to plop on the top of our soup. Soup's been simmering away nicely for about 15 minutes now. Croutons I've just taken out, so I believe we're ready to serve. If you do see any of the strands of thyme, any that haven't disintegrated, just take them out. Okay, I'm simply just going to place a couple of these lovely croutons in the centre. And there we have it. French onion soup.